And welcome everybody to Highway 62 Africa. It's your girl Petraa here. I'm joined with the wonderful TyB Ron Malinga. And we also have our wonderful guest as well joining us as well, Treesha. So we're definitely going to get to speaking to her very, very shortly. And we're super, super excited. We're definitely happy to have you all listening in this wonderful, wonderful Saturday. So I definitely want to shout out my co-host, Ron. How's your week been?
My week has been an interesting week. Let's say that. It's been full of music stuff, of course, like usual. And right now, as you may notice, I'm sitting in a car. I'm in a lineup to a ferry to go play somewhere. So it's
Nice.
it's a different, definitely a different circumstance. I'm sitting on my phone instead of my laptop, so it's all different. So I've been doing great. Beautiful weather. Been riding lots on my bike, keeping fit, so all that kind of stuff. So, and how are you doing, TYB?
Who wants to know?
Well, me.
Everybody.
Okay, all right. I'm doing great, Ron. I'm doing great. Petra, let me share this story with you. When I send you the link and everything, we were trying to get everything together. And Ron said, I said, "Oh, Ron, you're going to miss tomorrow's conversation with Treesha." She says, "Oh, you know what? Can you send me the link?" I said, "No, you chose to go somewhere." And he says, "Well, I would like to be a part of it." So, Ron, I'm so
Aww.
glad that you are with us here. Apart from that, everything is so good. The weather is beautiful out here, sunny. We enjoy the weather, Petra.
Yeah, most definitely. Finally, some warm weather here in Toronto, eh?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
But yeah, I can totally agree. My week's been awesome as well, just going with the flow, just every day something exciting's happening. I'm just enjoying the weather. Summer's coming, it's gonna be summer for the kids soon. So I know there's graduations and proms, that have happened and graduations coming up end of school. So yeah, I'm a mom, so definitely shout out to, you know,
Hi,
all those.
mommy.
Hey, mom.
Yeah, well, you know what? Hi dads, isn't it that special day tomorrow? Is Father's Day tomorrow?
That's right. That's right.
Correct.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. So happy
Correct.
Father's Day, TYB and Ron, So
Well,
Thank you.
I wish I
Thank
was a dad. No, I'm glad I'm not a dad. Sorry, I'm not a dad.
you're a musical dad to all of your students.
Yes, I know. That's why, as a teacher for years and years, I decided that having children really wasn't my best interest because I was with them all day long anyway. So,
That's right.
so
Dear
as a
God of many.
father to 30 kids every year.
Exactly. Father of many. So we
Yes, a
definitely gonna
father.
shout out gonna shout the dad all over the world,
Right.
those who have
Absolutely.
children and those who are father of many like you, Ron.
Well, Petra wished me a happy Father's Day last week.
I did.
Yeah, she did.
I like
Yes, I
I like
saw that.
Yeah, she
I like to get a
preempted
head
that.
start.
That's right.
I want it to be the first. So you're all
That's,
gonna get another Father's Day message from me.
oh,
Happy
kiddo.
Father's Day again. That's
Mhm.
for sure. But yeah, we definitely want to get into our wonderful interview with our special guest today, Treesha. We're so excited to have you on the show. So, without further ado, let's introduce Treesha to the show.
Hey,
Hey.
hey. How are you, Petra and TyB?
Yeah, we're
Not
good.
bad.
How are you?
We're
I'm
good. We're
good.
good.
I'm good, good. Thank you. I just came back from a show that I had in a city called Dortmund. And yeah, it was a nice vibe, nice show. Like I heard you actually mention before about the weather that the summer is coming. So it was the same thing here. Really hot weather, 30 something, 34 degrees.
Nice.
Well, that's Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. I guess
Oh,
around
then
one.
that's hot. If it's 34,
Yeah,
that
100 and
is hot.
something. Yeah, it was super hot, but then it also kind of rained, a bit stormy like weather, but yeah, it was super nice vibes. So I'm in some good spirits right now. Thank you for asking. I hope you're good.
Yeah, well, wonderful. Thank you for asking. Ron, we can't hear you. Are you saying something?
Ron, we can hear you.
We can't hear you, Ron.
Okay.
He's gonna come join us. So
Yeah.
Trisha, I want to ask you, and where are you actually? Where are we talking to you from? Like, where in the world are you located?
I'm between Kenya and Germany. So, but right now I'm in Germany. I just actually left Kenya, I
Wow.
want to say 4 weeks ago. So I'm basically here for the summer for my shows and all, and then I try to go back around, let's say, October, November to Kenya, and
Oh.
then back, to the root settings, and then come back again. So it's like in between here and there, Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
Cologne, Germany, and Nairobi, Kenya.
Amazing. I can only imagine what that comparison is like, going from
Yeah,
one to the other, you know?
yeah, totally, totally different, And it's always good to go back home because I always feel like just grounded, And then it's like just a reminder of who I am. Because at times,
Mm-hmm.
not to say that this place makes you forget who, I mean, Germany makes you forget who you are, but it's a good reminder to just kind of, basically level yourself. So, yeah, it's a good balance.
Yeah, that's amazing. I can only imagine that the impact, it has on your music, Can you just kind of go into that a little bit? Just
Okay,
between both
so
places and the impact of both cultures on your sound.
I want to say it's different, to be honest. It's depending on the genre, depending on the times. So Kenya would be like more getting to know, depending on, like I said, the sound at the moment, because Kenyans like to listen to a lot of foreign music. So
Okay.
that means if reggae music is not in, then it's like you now trying to reintroduce yourself,
Mm.
although, which is funny, reggae is actually the musical yeah, hub basically in Africa. So it's in most places in Kenya, but you
Wow.
still feel like you always have to be recreating and reinventing and introducing yourself. So yeah, it's tough, but it's a good. I like a challenge. At the end of the day, it keeps you on your toes. So which is totally fine. And then Germany's now, it also depends on what they're listening to, who's in at that moment, what they're pushing. So it's kind of a constant, like I said, challenge, but I like a challenge. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
basically what I can say about it.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's really interesting. I learned a lot from what you just mentioned.
Yeah.
And just to kind of, I'm going to ask you another question before I pass you over to Ron.
Okay.
Usually I ask my signature question. I didn't ask it yet because I was just really already interested. I'm really excited to talk to you. But can you just share with our listeners who is Treesha? Just so they know a little bit about you.
Okay. So I would say Treesha is a Kenyan reggae R&B pop. I don't like to be boxed in, but that's my main genre
Mm-hmm.
because I'm very versatile. And yeah, singer, songwriter, um, and I also founded my new record label. So yeah, to be able to help also other people because I know what it is like to be in a position where you try to get this bus moving, but something will always,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I consider at times we need to be the voices of those people who cannot be able to speak for themselves. And yeah, if I can help, I try and do it through my music how I can. So yeah, that's just basically me in a nutshell.
That's amazing. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, Ron.
Thank you.
Can you hear me now? I hope so.
Yeah.
We can
Yes.
hear you.
Good, good.
Yes,
Having
girl.
some,
Yes, Petra. I hear you.
yeah, good, because I was having some technical issues there. Um, Question for you, Trisha. Can you give me a pronunciation? I've heard it. Trisha. How do you pronounce it so I get it right?
So I would say Trisha.
Trisha. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
From
and
Patricia because my name is Patricia Wamboy. So Patricia.
okay.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
And you're saying that you grew up in Kenya.
Yes.
Uh, And so, can I ask, like I ask many artists, how were your parents? Were they supportive of you going into music, or were they wanting you to do something else? How's that? How did that work with your family? What kind of support did you get from your family?
So my family, let me start. Let me start with my mother. My mother is a traditional African, so I'm sure you can already imagine. Yeah,
Tell
as
me
you're
about
laughing,
Tell me about it.
yeah, you know. So as TyB's laughing, I can hear. I think he already knows what I mean. I'm sure you know. You know what I mean as well. But my mother was like, what music? No, 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 no. That's a hobby. You can't do that professionally. No, 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 no. School, school, school. So I actually also wanted to be a doctor, but I studied. I'm a medical assistant as well. So yeah, so at that time when I finished my training, Gentleman, the reggae artist, was looking for a new backing singer. So, which kind of worked well at the same time because I was just done, and then he was looking for a backing singer, and I was like, I've always wanted to be on stage. You know, this may be a perfect start into the direct, and it felt like a calling from the universe or a what do you call it? I'm only thinking in German right now, but it's like I don't want to say calling, but it's like yes, this is what you're supposed to be doing, you know. So I took the chance, and I was like, yeah, music was working, and I worked I think for 1.5 years, and then it got too much for me because then I also started. I actually recorded my own album, and then I started going on tour as well, and then of course with Gentleman as well. Then it got a lot, and I was like, okay, now I have to leave my medical assistant behind and go, musically. So yeah, my mother, I'm explaining all of that just to let you know. Once my mother saw that, she was like, okay, then it's working. It seems like it's. And my sisters and my brother were so supportive that it's like she just kind of had to join in. And I'm also not talking about my father. My father passed when I was 6 years old. So, but he used to play a guitar, so I know he would have been supportive of music. Maybe just depends on to what extent, because you know how the industry can be, especially for females. But I'm sure he'd have been supportive of that as well. So yeah, and I have a supportive family, which I'm very, very grateful for. They're always there. Like some of my family that in Germany always come support my shows, and the ones in Kenya as well. So I'm grateful, and I'm very thankful. But it wasn't, especially my mother, it wasn't that easy at the beginning. I can't lie.
Yeah, hey, no point.
Yeah.
I know that we hear of many artists, and it tends to be from Africa, mostly males, because I don't know. But can you tell us a little bit about why is it so difficult for women to break into the market and be a part of the scene? I know this could be compared to any profession, any job, anywhere, but tell us about Africa and what it's like for females to break into the market.
So, is it musical market? You'd say,
Correct. Yeah.
First of all, I'd like to say, I mean, this is my opinion. I feel
Sure.
like females are always put against each other. It's like it could only be one. Petra is nodding. It's like it's either this person, girl, you know how it is.
Yeah.
Either this one artist, and then the rest can slowly come in. And then females always feel like it should be me first. It's only me. It's me, 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 me. And they try and use that opportunity because they feel like if I don't use this opportunity, next girl is coming. So it's like it's always made to feel like we always have to compete against each other. Like there's only this one spot and there's such a huge cake. And then we also tend to get selfish within ourselves, willingly or unwillingly. This is what I have seen happen. And the second play, I don't know what else I would say. I know for me, for example, it's difficult because I don't want to talk about it because it may sound cliche, but some men in the industry just want one thing. And the moment you say no, you're shelved. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
And that could be another thing because then it's like there's some females who I don't like to say not talented, but maybe a bit less talented than those who can say, like super sing or super dance or whatever the case. Maybe they don't have the looks or whatever, but because these other type of females will be jumping in front and give everything and sell, it makes it harder for you to get like really quality artists out there. This is my experience. I'm just saying it from my point of view. But I saw Petra nodding, so I'm sure she feels. Yeah.
All you
Nice.
can do is speak from your experience. Yeah, that's why we're chatting with you. So all right, TyB, go ahead, sir.
Treesha, it's nice to have you on the show.
Thank
There
you.
are
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
a lot of people, a lot of countries listening to you. And it seems you're hot out there.
Hey,
What is the
everybody out there.
what is the biggest challenge you see in this industry? Because you know what, there's a lot of changes coming up that we have not sort of put our heads to and say, oh, the industry is changing. From the time that we got into the to the industry, what you see have been the challenges and what you see is where you'll be taking this industry.
Okay, I would say there are many things that come to mind, so I'll just point them out. Maybe we can talk about them in depth later. But I would say, first of all, AI. AI also leading to a lot of bubblegum music, like fast food music. This is what I feel like. So the more we use AI, the less you will need a human being to do that. You just need a face, I feel like this is where it's going. And then you will not need a real person to do that job. You have AI. And then the thing is, everything starts sounding the same.
Exactly.
Unfortunate, And then I think, and then I think another challenge would be just having the right people to help you navigate. Not everyone has a support system. Not everyone has people who can push you in front. Not everyone has a proper team. Not everyone has the resources. This is another thing I feel like when I'm in Kenya, there are so many talented people, but they don't have the resources. They don't have that and then it makes them.
Oh, sorry, Trisha, we can't hear you.
Oh, you
Yeah,
can't.
thank you.
Oh, we can hear you now.
Okay.
It was coming out.
What did I say? Yeah, so people don't have resources. Like when I went to Kenya, all the time when I go back, I always see how it is like for artists, upcoming artists or just artists that are trying to make it, and they can't because they don't have either, it's people to push them or the right team behind them. And then there's money involved, people want, of course, I don't expect people to do things for free, and I don't think they think that way either, but it's a challenge. That's another thing, the money itself. And then another thing is, as a singer, in my experience, the fact that I used to sing with gentlemen, people used to feel like it was an easy task for me to go anywhere or get anything, And that in itself made me get less of opportunity because people thought that it came easy to me. And that in itself, because it's like always having to prove yourself that no, they don't do this and that for me. I sit myself down and I record my own vocals, for example. I get this and that done. I book my own shows, or I have help booking shows, but I'm hands on everything. So yeah, like I said, that also comes with a team, but at times people assume things that don't know what exactly is there. So and you can't even sit explaining to everyone, this is my life and this is, you just have to keep on going. And yeah, at times people just can't do that, don't have the energy to do that, unfortunately. So yeah.
Sorry, Ron. Can you mute? Sorry, Ron, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, or is something?
We can hear the zipping and the stuff.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Okay, well, I'll just mute my mic then.
Thank you, Ron.
Yeah, and Treesha, Kenya is becoming a hub of for reggae.
Yes.
Reggae music. Great musicians are coming out of there, and some are going there. I know my friend and a friend of the show, Kati Matete, is there, and my friend also and brother Shasha Mali is gonna tour there. Itana was there recently. There's a what is attracting reggae artists into Kenya right now? Because last 2 weeks ago, I think we had Ricky Glamorous, who also a Canadian reggae artist, and his music has started getting roots in Kenya. What is so attractive with respect to reggae in Kenya?
I think it's the fact that it speaks for a lot of people, you know, the things that people go through, and the hurdles, the struggles, and it resonates. Reggae music resonates a lot with Kenyan people. This is definitely all I can say. And like I said, Kenyans consume a lot of foreign music, so that means when they consume like foreign acts, they don't. Unfortunately, they don't embrace their own. So that's why for now I'd like to say big up to like Kathy Matete, Shamir, this Becky Mudhoni, Frankie D. There are a lot of Kenyan artists, and I wish that they would embrace them. But there is a lot of it's just very reggae music is very relatable to Kenyans for some reason. But I don't know. Like I said, it's the struggles, the beat itself, the message. It's definitely a reason why reggae artists would be booked. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting, and I've been following the trends, and it's so refreshing. My last question to you before I pass it on to Petraa is, how did you put everything together from the time that you went into the studio? What was your first recording that you did, or the first? How do I put it? Your first, when you went to the studio for the first time. What music? What record? What was the music that you recorded?
I don't think I understand what music. Do you mean genre, or do you mean what song?
Anything, any recording at all. Your first time in the studio.
Oh, it might have been a pop song or jazzy. I can. To be honest, I can't really remember because I recorded a lot.
The first one,
and I'm always in the studio. I'm always recording. I'm always working with people. Yeah. So, but I can remember the first time when I heard my voice. It was weird because it's like, is that what I sound like? That I can definitely remember. It was just weird, like.
Yeah.
Like I'm afraid of the person. I'm like, okay, I had to get used to hearing myself.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That was where I was heading to, but you've answered the question.
Okay. Okay. You see, I can read your mind here. I can read your mind.
Yeah.
Petraa.
But it was amazing. At first, it was just like, who is that? Like
That's
that?
right.
Yeah. But it was a nice moment, definitely.
And how did your mom take it? Mommy, did you hear that?
She loved it because she always used to hear me in the bathroom. She's like, this one boy, that's my Kikuyu name. She's like, one boy is always singing, bathroom, hallway, school, on her way to school, I was always singing. So she was used to it. She's like, okay, nice. Then I'd sing for her sometimes, or like if we had a party, I'd sing for her. So she was used to it. She was super happy to hear it. But at the same time, she's like, school, books, don't forget that part, which I'm very grateful for because education is key, or at least a minimal amount of education is key. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Petraa.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's amazing. It's really great to hear your perspective,
Thank you.
Just like you, I'm a reggae artist too, so I can totally relate to a lot of your story. And I also, there's one thing I wanted to ask you in relation to reggae music, because I know that TyB explored that in relation to reggae music, the impact of reggae music in Kenya. But I wanted to ask about its impact of reggae music on you. Like, what was it about reggae music that made you fall in love with it? And I know you sing other genres too, but what is it about reggae in particular that made you fall in love with it?
Okay, I'm glad you asked that because, true, like I said, I had been doing a lot of other genres before, but I felt like reggae music is the same thing like with the Kenyan people. It just resonated differently. It just hit a different part of my DNA or my bloodstream or something that just shook me up, and I was like, I think this is exactly what I'm supposed to do. It has the thing with reggae music is like it's also in itself very versatile. The subgenres of reggae music, it's like if I want to get raw, I have dancer, and how raw do I want to get is also another thing, you know.
Exactly.
But, you know, for example, if I want to dance, I have that. Then I have the ska at the same time. You can dance to that as well. You have a one drop, you just want to, you know, slowly rock it. You have your lovers rock. It's like, it's so versatile. And then I just feel like the frequency, I don't know if it's a 432 hertz or whatever it is
Yeah.
just freaking sweet, you know. So that's the thing. And then the message that you can put onto it is always, when you're singing to, you always feel like you have to put some positive, at least for me, I always feel like I have to put some positivity into it, you know, even if it's a message where I'm talking about, I don't know, someone being mean to me, for example, like I have a song called Never Be Cool. I'm like, it's fine, okay, I have learned a lesson out of it. It's not that I'm bitter, I've learned
Yeah.
out of it, you know. It's like you can still mold it into a way that it's still positive. And yo, I love reggae music. It chose me. I chose it, and it chose me too. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
so funny. You said that key thing, and I love to ask that question whenever we interview reggae artists. And I remember asking Shasha the same thing and a few others, and you said the same thing.
Oh,
And I believe the same thing. We don't choose reggae, like, or maybe we choose it, but reggae chooses us. You
us,
know, like
girl. Yes.
when you're a reggae artist, you realize it's a calling. You know, it's like
Yeah, exactly, girl. Yeah.
like you have to sing, like you can sing anything, because I'm from England. You know, I was born in England. My
Okay. Nice.
family, I've been Ascension and Kitishan, you know, but I was raised around Jamaican culture, and I lived in Jamaica. I had a business in Jamaica, you know, but
Okay.
like culturally I should be singing pop music because that is the cultural sound of England, you know what I mean? Or I
Yeah.
should be singing soca music because that's traditionally the sound of my islands. But there's something about reggae music, something about that sound
Yeah.
that drew me to it, you know, just because of the things you mentioned. You can speak messages of positivity, upliftment, unity. You can really change the world with that
Yes.
sound, you
Yes.
know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
commend you for,
Yeah.
you know, for
Thank
being a
you.
good reggae soldier and just really is promoting
Thank
the
you.
sound and uplifting people with your music.
You too, and thank you for beautifully putting that together. You said it.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Um, so I wanted to ask you another question as well, because honestly, I love Gentleman. Like, he's one of my favorite artists. I
Yeah.
love his sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And would love, I'm sure the listeners would love to know how that connection came about. I know you talked about it briefly.
Okay.
We'd love to know how that connection came about, and also what did that experience teach you in preparation for yourself, then going on tour and embarking upon your own career.
Okay. So I think I had mentioned that he was looking for a background singer, and that's when I finished my training as a medical assistant. So I was working, really just started working here. And there's this producer, he's called Benny. He produced It No Pretty, for example. And then Gentleman's Drummer, who played on my album as well. I was working with him just like really shortly before that. He's called Big Finger. And yeah, he told me, actually, they both told me, yo, you know, Gentleman is looking for a new backing singer. Mamadi left. And how do you feel about that, Treesha? You know, it could be a good opportunity for you to, you know, like start off and see how, you know, you can mold your career as well. And I was like, why not? I mean, for me, I never ever saw myself as a backing singer, but I think it's a good thing because it also taught me a lot about working in a team, you know, also musically, the experience going on big stages, meeting people, how to conduct yourself on stage with the musicians, you know, with the other singer. I mean, well, the singers on stage basically. So him and his wife was the other background singer. And you know, just working in a team and music, you know, like being on tour, for example, that's an experience you can never just make up at home. It's like you have to be on tour, be on the road, be in the buses, air conditioned, heat, cold. You're having to use some toilets that, you know, if you're like kind of bougie and, you know, and then that's how I am. I'm very germsy. I'm like, oh, that toilet, you know. So you just kind of get used to these environments, and it was a good way for me to, you know, kind of, yeah, like I said, experiences also. That those are the experiences that I was able to get on that journey. And then watching Gentleman, for example, perform, he, you know, performs really well, interacts with the crowd also really well. That in itself was a lesson. But at the same time, I had to take because at the end of the day, you can't even really compare situations, no matter how much you want to, because you as an artist, even with the followers you have and everything in the audience, you have to mold into your own self. How am I communicating with people?
Exactly.
They look at you and they look at you as you. They never see the situation the same because it's just you now. You know, it's your music. What do they, when they see you on stage? What do they see? What do they feel? You know, even if I saw Gentleman walking and I try to walk, it will not be the same walk, it will not be the same feel, it will not be presented the same way. Something
Exactly.
totally different. And then another thing, being in the background and singing at the front, two totally different things.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like something you, only you yourself can, no matter how much experience you have watching someone, it's only you that can bring that out yourself. So I'm grateful for the lessons, but at the same time, I feel like I got all the packages I needed to take that step further, you know. So super grateful for that time.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, and I hope I
amazing.
answered your question. I've been talking a lot, but I hope I answered the question.
No, very eloquently and beautifully said. That was really
Thank
great.
you.
I love the way you put that together, you know,
Thank
and I'm sure there's many of our listeners out there and just people your admirers, your fans that, you know, you enlighten them very much with
you.
that experience, you know?
Thank you. Thank you. And another thing is, I have to add on to that. You have to be ready. You know,
Mm,
like I said, I never ever thought I was going to be a background singer,
mm,
but the universe knew, God knew that I needed that time to prepare myself, because you may think you're ready, but there's so many things that fall into place. Even as how I was brought up, you know, I'm a last born. I always had my sister looking after me, and now it was like me on my own, stepping out, and you know, it's like, okay, you're pushed out. Then you have to. If someone does this and that. This my sister is not there to come, you know,
yeah.
check someone or whatever the case. Like you have to take care of the situation. So yeah, it's I'm grateful. I'm super grateful for everything. Even that
Amazing.
journey with Gentleman, I'm super grateful.
Yeah, for sure. It's amazing. And
Thank you.
I want to ask you another question before I pass you on to Ron. You spoke earlier with TYB in relation to women in the
Mm-hmm.
music industry, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
And, yeah, I was nodding my head, like, because I totally agree,
yeah,
you know? And no offense, fellas, but like women, I feel like we have an experience in the industry, you
yeah,
know? And it's just like, it's not always fair, you know? And a lot of times, unfortunately, women are put in situations that they shouldn't be put in, you know? That
yeah.
some men, and I can't say some men don't get put in some situations because some
Mm,
do, but a lot of the time, women are put in situations that they shouldn't be put in if they're just going to do music, you know? And
mm,
it is unfortunate, you
yeah,
know?
sure.
But I do want to ask you, speaking
Mm-hmm.
on a more of a positive note, you know,
Yeah.
because I'm always forward thinking, I'm always very much solution orientated. I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
ask you, what changes would you like to see happen in the industry today for women, you know, just
Mm-hmm.
to open more doors for
Mm-hmm.
them to feel more safe and just to make it more of an equal playing field?
I would say the same thing basically that men are getting well, let's also talk about the reggae industry, because I think the reggae industry is a totally different lane of its own. Yeah, that we're just given more opportunities, the same as men. You know, it was, I don't know, create a half-half lineup, 10 females, 10 males, for example. Not make
Mm,
it feel like there are very few women, and that's why we're putting more men, you know?
mm-hmm.
I think there is that balance. We can be able to just a balance, actually. That's the word I would say. Just create a balance, um, so that women can feel safe and can feel like they're able to, and that they're appreciated and that they're looked at as equals, you know. Otherwise, it's like, okay, I don't know if they really like, you know, you even come in with a little less confidence because you're feeling like, do they see me as, or they're just putting me on the lineup just because they have to put one female here, another female there, you know, I mean, they're just equality, let's just say. But at the same time, I'd like to say for females, we need to stop fighting each other, because I've seen it.
Mm,
So I don't want to put the blame on men, you know, alone, because even I've gotten a lot of fight from females. And
mm,
a lot of the people that support me in the industry, I have to say are men. The most,
mm.
the least problematic, if it's supporting, no, really, if it's supporting, and if it's writing, or even encouragement, it's like, no, this is Treesha. It's always, for me, what I've noticed is always men, and it's not men that want anything from me. I'm not gonna say that. It's like it's always that energy, that support, that push. If it's, okay, let me help you get this show here, let me help you. It's like always men, men, men. Of course, there's the females there, but I feel like the females always, it's like if you look better than them, or if it's, I don't know, someone talks a bit nice about you, there's always that jealousy, and it's super you know. So I feel like we also need to look at ourselves, and this is the reason probably also why we don't get some of those bookings, because who wants to book people that are going to be in the backstage fighting each other? Who wants to do that? Nah. Even you wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want to do that either. It's like, are we having a party or are we having a cat fight?
Exactly.
Let's decide. Let's decide, you know? So I would look at it both ways as well. At least this is, like I said, this is just my perspective. Yeah.
Thank you, Treesha.
No problem. No problem. Thank you.
Ron?
Ron, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you, Ron.
We can hear you, Ron. We can hear you.
Can hear you.
We can hear you. Yeah.
Try mute and mute and unmute. Try that.
We still can hear.
Try log out and log in.
Yeah. But Treesha, then before Ron comes up with your track, the current track, Run It. When I listened to it at first, I thought it was a Jamaican singer. How did you get that accent?
This is now from, like I said, remember when I said that I have my friends in the industry? That is the help I got from, he's called Medicine. He's also written a lot of stuff from Kabaka, for example. He did the last song with Barris Hammond and Jesse Royal. And yeah, so he sent in the song. We're talking, this is a topic we had, and we're just talking about this song, and he's like, okay, you know, I'm gonna write you something. And then when I sent it to him, I was like, because he had to ask him to check the accent, and he's like, I can't tell you anything.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't correct you with anything. He's like, that's that.
You did it. You did the track. When I listened to it, and I'm saying to myself, am I listening to Treesha, or I'm listening to somebody? You know, is that the accent was right on the money? The music,
right on the money. I like the one.
Yes. Everything about the track was so good and attracted me right. And so I said, maybe we may have to have a conversation with that guy. And I mean, I dove my heart to you for coming out with this track, because it's a track that has got to be watched. It's very great.
Thank you so much. I mean, thank him because he wrote it, and the producer, he's from the UK. He's called Eclectic Prods, or rather Zach, actually. And like I said, men, you know, I'm happy that they believe in me, and you know that he even trusted me to sing that much patois. You know? So
that was great. And how do you balance professional, you know, career and and what you're doing right now? How do you balance it? And what motivates you to go on to continue with it?
People like you know, and Petraa and Ron. Well, he's not here, but you know, when you guys give me that love, you know, for example, like I said, I just came from a show. Usually I just be like, okay, let me chill. And I'm like, no, this is some nice motivation to remind me, you know, the people out there listening and appreciating. And it gives me such great energy. So that, I mean, really grateful to be here and to have the interview. And that's basically it, you know, when you hear people appreciating what you do and are listening and, you know, want more. And it just pushes me to keep on going. So, yeah.
Yeah, because I think it's because we are in the same industry. And then if we hear a very good sound, a very good music, we kind of, we get it, and we want to motivate, we want to give this platform to our fellow artists in the business, to encourage them to do more, because hey, we make people laugh, we make people cry.
Yeah.
So basically, this is how we look at it. And then over the years, we've interviewed or we have had conversations with a lot of artists, you know, and we get that sense that there is something there within the industry that is pushing us to do more. So if we see that, it like any Saturday when we come in here, it's so exciting to have a conversation like what we are having here to motivate ourselves as well. So
Yeah.
it's a good thing that we're speaking with you. That I'm learning a lot from you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I'm learning from you guys too.
And that's what we come here to do. And what are some of the challenges? One particular challenge that you've come in this journey.
I like that you say one particular because I could name a few, but I
Go
would say
ahead.
that
Go ahead. It's your show. Go ahead.
yeah. I could say that, let me just say the toughest one I would say is the assumption that I work with gentlemen, that has that I have it easy. People always think, yeah, she works with gentle, she must have this link, he must be doing this and it's for her, he must be booking or whatever the case. And that's not the case. I actually started out, I remember when I asked, I don't want to name, but I would ask someone in the industry if they could help me like booking some shows for my own shows at that time. This was a bit after I started with after I signed with Gentleman. And they were like, yeah, you have to establish yourself more. I don't think they're going to do this and they're going to do that. And I was like, oh, really? Watch me. And I went in front of, like literally the day after, I went in front of the computer, went and I looked for, what do you call it, addresses. And I sat down and I wrote myself. And I got, I think, 4 shows that year, but I was so happy with the 4 shows. Yeah, I was so happy with those. And I'm like, you see, you can do this thing yourself.
Exactly.
You can do it yourself. You just have to you don't wait on no one. Even all that complaining, although I complained, trust me, I did a bunch of my complaining, but that for me was the toughest, because you would think that because you're in that position and because it feels like actually you're surrounded by a lot of people who can help you, but you're lonely. That for me was it was so hurtful until I felt I had to just push myself, and I'm like, no, you have to. And then people even assuming like, yo, Treesha, can you get me a doublet with Gentleman? Can you get me a dub? Can you get me a this? Can you get me? And they do not know half of the situation. I don't. Can you get me a show? And I'm like, I cannot do anything for you. I'm just a backing singer. And even people getting mad at you. Some of them not even responding to your message. You ask them to play a song, they won't play just because they feel like, oh, you didn't get me a doublet or a jingle.
Wow.
And it's like, it's okay. People will know what's up later on, but I can't keep on explaining myself. I can't keep. It's exhausting. But for me, that was I'd say that the toughest. Yeah. And all I can say out there, people listening, all you need to do is just believe in yourself. I still am doing that, because it's tough, especially if you're riding by yourself. But make sure also you have people around you who are honest with you, who call you out on your nonsense, who call you out on whatever the case is, and encourage you and tell you the truth whenever. It's so important, because those are people who can see you from the outside and tell you, what's up. So
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. No, most definitely. And honestly, we're really thoroughly enjoying this conversation with you. Like,
Very much so.
could you share? Yeah, the things that you're sharing are things that a lot of artists have gone through, are going through, and and your level of authenticity is really it's really moving. It's really touching, because you said some real things. Like, people expect that once you get opportunities, okay, now they can come to you for them to get an opportunity, and like you said, it's not what you think, and TyB can totally agree. He's been on huge stage, performed with so many big artists, but it's like, at the same time, like you mentioned, they have their journey, but you also have your journey, and it's not an easy road, but it's still yours, and
Yeah,
you love
exactly.
it, you embrace it, and you just learn what you learn from that, and you continue
Yeah,
to grow and touch the
exactly.
world and people with your music, you
Yeah,
know?
that's true. That's true. And the more you focus on that, because like I said, I'm not speaking like I'm perfect. The more you focus on that path, the more you notice things slowly start going as they should. Because you're
Hmm.
there complaining and pushing your energy into things that are not taking you no freaking where. Let's just keep
Hmm.
it moving. Let's keep it, like kind of tunnel vision, But still, at the same time, look at what's around. You don't ignore people. Be humble, but just
Yes.
keep it. And I noticed that way was just the best way because I was super disappointed. You end up losing friends because of people thinking, okay, she didn't want to help me with this. She didn't want to help. You don't even know the half of the story. But maybe that was a way of the universe just cutting out them people or things. It's like weeds.
Exactly.
You know, you'll never know. Yeah.
I agree. I think as you go on your journey, and I can say for myself too, like, you know, I want real things. I just want
Yeah.
authenticity. And I feel like we're in an industry that a lot of the time is not real. It's
Fake.
superficial, fake. It's fake.
Fake. Yeah.
And as you continue to you kind of come to a crossroad. Are you that artist that's going to just go along with the fake and then eventually wake up 5-10 years from now and not even know who you are? Or you're that
Yeah.
artist going to choose the harder road, but at least 5-10 years you can look yourself in the mirror and you
Yeah.
know who you are. And
Yes. Yes.
you may not have a certain level of like fame in the world, but you're right with your soul, you're right with God, and you're happy.
Exactly. And you're happy. Yeah. Because who wants you? What do you want to lose yourself to? Things
Hmm.
and people that will probably be there for 2 seconds. Well, of course, maybe a bit longer. But you know what I mean? Two
I know
seconds
you
and
mean.
that and then they're gone and you're just there like, okay, so it was all a dream,
Yeah.
But nah, I'd rather the authentic way and stand. There's this song, it's called "We Won't Stop." It's unreleased, but I still did it today. And I was telling
Nice.
people that, I was telling people that at the end of the day, you need to fight for what you know is right, and anyway, what is right, even if it means you stand by yourself. At least
Mm-hmm.
then you can say at the end of the day, at least I was authentic to myself. At least I was real with myself, you know. And at least you're not losing yourself because that's the worst thing that can happen. You just be super miserable and regretting it for life. No, no point. And then even people look at you funny. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Yeah, you touch on some real things because I think we watch that and see that with a lot of mainstream artists. Like we'll see them when they first get into the music industry, and then 5-10 years later, it's like, who are they?
yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, for real. Like I can name many, but I'm not going to.
You're
We
not
all
going to.
know, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I feel like, especially, and I think we can all attest to it as musicians right now. Like, and I know it's very cliche, the whole thing that's going on with the Diddy trial and what have you. It's just showing a lot of the facade,
Yeah.
in the industry is coming to light,
Right. Right.
and as really as sad as it is, a lot of the things that we're hearing, I feel it is necessary. This
Yeah.
stuff needs to come to light. People need to know what is really going on so a
Mm.
revolution can happen. So
Yeah.
it's a safe place and a safe space for creatives, you
Exactly.
know?
That's
Like,
true.
yeah, we need to be able to be safe to create,
Mm.
not be exploited, not be used,
Exactly.
not be taken advantage of. Because to
Exactly.
be creative is a gift. It's a
Yeah.
divine gift.
Yeah.
So we
And it's
as people, as a society, need to protect that. So go
true.
ahead.
True. Sorry for cutting you. Yeah, and you're right. Being creative, because if someone takes that creativity from you,
Mm.
it's like it's super painful. And then you feel like you wasted your time, depending on how long it is, and you're like, I couldn't express myself. I wasn't had I had brought out this and this, and it's and the worst thing that can happen is if you're cramped up in a situation, your creativity just goes all the way down. So
Mm-hmm.
you're right. We need to be able to speak, even just for people to be able to. Once it's in the light, the less it is the possibility that it will happen again to someone else, for example. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's so important because you should be free doing what you love, yeah, and creating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
You said you started it, so
Yeah, no, because the truth, I think it's something we can all relate to. What do you think,
yeah.
TYB?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
sure.
It's like you girl said it. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good with it.
yeah. I mean, you couldn't have said it more. See, the industry is kind of funny.
Hmm.
I always look at it from the point of view of who we are entering into that industry.
Mm.
We had a conversation the other time with another artist. I've forgotten who the artist was saying. We're talking about the mindset of who we are when we go into the studio. And a
Hmm.
lot of people may be crying for help. Maybe I'm
Mm.
digressing a little bit, but when you listen to the tracks and then the lyrics, sometimes it's a mental health issue.
Mm.
They are crying out for help.
Yeah.
Sorry, they are crying out for help, but we don't normally listen to what they say.
Hmm.
But we take it, like face value. And so the industry has got so many pitfalls. It's
Mm.
like you go into this one, there's something there. You go into that, there's something there. You go somewhere, it's something there. But all I can say is that with my experience with the industry is to be who you are. It's not about the music. I mean, the money. You can have money,
Yeah.
but not happy.
But not
We
be
have
happy.
so many art. That's right. We have so many artists. I was so shocked to hear or even watch TV to see Brian Wilson, one of the top musicians that came out of the United States, that was institutionalized. I mean, he
Mm.
had, like, so it's a very funny industry that it's on an individual basis. We have to take care of ourselves first
Mm.
before we take care of anything else, anybody else, because it's fraught with fake stuff there. What we see is not what we experience. Like we
Yeah.
say, what glitters as gold, or how do we say that? What
What glitters is
So what
not
is not all that glitters is gold.
gold. I said
so
that.
on an individual level, I think we have so many different facets in this industry, and then the more we look at ourselves, what I for one, I won so many different accolades, but it's not about that. We created this platform just to have conversations like this.
Mm-hmm.
Have to have We are 5 years old, and we have been able to have conversations with array of artists, Grammy, Juno, what have you. And we've
Hmm.
learned a lot. And as we go, we sort of we learn from the artists, and then the artists learn from us. So there's so many things that comes with being in this industry. Like I'm saying, it's a jungle. If you lose sight, you'll be eaten alive in broad daylight. So you just have
Mm.
to make sure that whatever step that you're taking is the right
Yeah.
step, whether it's a baby step, sure. And it will lead me to my next question. My next question to you: what advice would you give to musicians who are artists who are getting into this industry? Because some of them,
Mm.
I will make this one hit, and that's it. Oh, the whole world is, but they don't learn about the
Yeah.
business around it. There's a business
Yeah.
around it. They don't learn
Yeah.
about business. They learn about the artistry for part of it, how that
Mm-hmm.
business. And Petraa is in that position where she has done so much. But I would like to hear from you before. I mean, she says that.
Okay. That is definitely also one thing you've actually kind of answered it. I would say learn the business, because unfortunately, the music industry isn't what it used to be before. It's become a whole business. You're a product now, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I
So
like that.
yeah, yeah. So the more you learn about that, the more you dig into that and what it entails, everything
Mm.
about, the easier it gets also for you to be able to maneuver. Because if you
Yes.
sit down thinking, oh, I'm just an artist, oh, why are they telling me this and complaining, you just get stuck in one spot. So that's definitely what I would say. One thing I would say. And then a next thing I would say is definitely to surround, like I said, I think I mentioned it earlier, surround yourself with people, like-minded people, and then also people, progressive people, not people who want to complain this, complain that. Because,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, I'm not perfect. I have complained. I've done a huge chunk of complaining. But, just basically progressive people and people who are honest with you, who that is, I feel like, one of the most underrated things, because and people who make sure that you stay your authentic self, because once you lose yourself, forget
Yeah.
everything else. You'll be
I
looking
know.
back and knowing, who am I, what was my purpose to start with, why am I doing music? That is the worst feeling ever. So I would definitely say those two, those are the top. And yeah, like I said, believing in yourself, believing in your dream, remembering who you are, why you started in the first place. Of course, we all start from a naive place, in quotes. um, but we have to have some sense of purpose. We have to move in purpose. You can't just be moving,
Mm-hmm.
headless chicken running all over the place. So
Yeah,
that's definitely what I would say. Yeah, yeah.
Great.
most definitely.
Mm.
Yeah, you said some really, really great things. And yeah, TRB, you wanted me to mention some of the things that I learned from the industry?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, please.
Yeah, for
Maybe I
sure.
can learn a thing or two.
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
For
I said
sure.
this. I said this because Petraa is a great artist, but then she had to take some time,
Mm-hmm.
establish a business,
Mm.
right? A lot of artists don't do that,
Mm.
right? Some of them just go out and the money they are doing that, but they forget about the fact that tomorrow you may not be able to sing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm,
Share may have one off.
Mm.
That particular case, what do you have? All that
Mm.
you may have will be your name, but because
Yeah.
people may be saying, but he was singing, but he was doing great. Why is it like that?
Mm-hmm.
What is happening? So,
Yeah.
um, like admire what Petra has done,
Mm-hmm.
and what maybe Petra may take it over and express it so that new artists, people who are getting into the industry, don't get swollen headed that I'm going to do it. Oh, I'm going to sign this deal. No,
Mm.
be independent. That's what we've been touting here. Independent contract. You do it by yourself. It's more than better or more than necessary to see yourself as somebody who is within the industry. If you lose sight of anything, you don't have anything, because signing a deal, big deal. Spotify. What does Spotify give you? Spotify gives you nothing, nothing,
exactly.
zero. Oh, I have signed. Oh, I've got 200,000 streams for $50. Come on,
Exactly.
for $50. That is not what it is. You have
Yeah.
to, because the future of the industry is telling us that we have to be able to go out there and perform, just like you're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Days where you have to go there and then sell your CDs, that day is gone. Those eras
I
are gone.
know.
The industry has changed dramatically. So I think, Petra, I'll leave it with you to continue on that.
First of all, Petray, like, may say big up on the nomination, or I think you won the Juno. I heard it's like the Grammys of Canada. Congratulations, big up on that.
Thank you, Trisha. Thank you. And also big up TYB. He's a Juno Award winner.
Hey,
So gotta
big
big up
up.
TYB.
Okay, I'm here. I'm here. Amongst winners.
You're a winner too, girl, because you're here. So
We're all
yeah, for
winners. Big
sure.
up to that is.
Yeah, for sure. But honestly, TYB, very well said. And just to kind of just touch on like my experience with the industry, like when I did get the nomination, it had actually happened around COVID. It was 2020. So, like, we all know this musical road is not an easy thing, and
Yeah,
you work really hard to get to a certain place. And when that occurred,
yeah.
just like you for a little bit, I was kind of complaining, like, oh, why does it have to happen now? Like, why, divine timing. But again,
Mm-hmm.
it really was divine timing because, I felt like I got to a point where, doors are starting to open, things are starting to occur. And then COVID happened, and I was forced to step back. You know, I was forced to step back and really really evaluate what I wanted, you know, with my future. And I already had a university degree, you know, and just like you mentioned when it came to your mom said, okay, you know, you could do the music, but make sure you have your education. So that was my thing. And I'm so thankful. So shout out to my mommy right now. Mwah, shout out to you, mommy.
That's right.
She really encouraged me with my education. So I've always understood the power of education and what it can do for you, but understanding how that can connect to the music. You know, I realized that there's a lot of musicians out there that just rely on their talent and they don't, like you said, understand that the whole thing is a business, you know? And I think when I've been in this industry over 20 years now. So when I first got into the industry, a lot of artists were not aware. You know, they were still in this whole mentality, like, I want to get signed to a label, I want to get my deal, and that was it. And we've heard of so many horror stories, you know, that have occurred since then, not even still occurring to this day, you know. But I feel like a lot of the younger artists go into the industry knowing it's a business and conduct themselves like that. I think it's my generation and older still that are still trying to understand, okay, how to navigate and haven't fully grasped what this is, you know? But to kind of touch back on what TyB said in relation to business, that allowed me to really think about, okay, what is important to me? You know, as much as I love music, I'm a mom and I'm a wonderful mom to two boys. You know, one of them is special needs, my baby, Kingy. So he got diagnosed with autism. So I said to myself, you know, like, what is important? You know, like me just, you know, doing music to the way I want to, or just really just being a mom to my son, you know. And at the end of the day, I believe you can have it all. So I stepped back so I could propel forward. And in that time period, I went to school, did marketing, and even that in itself has only enhanced where I'm going with my music and allowed me to see how I can help others too. So it really is good to be able to look at what you want and look where you're going in life from a different perspective, and to also understand that as a musician, we don't really have a retirement package. What is our retirement package? You know, like what are we going to do in 20, 30 years from now, you know? And I hear some of the older artists, like we definitely give them credit, especially in reggae, that they're in their 50s and 60s performing like a Beres Hammond and a Marcy Griffiths. And I love that, you know, but what about if you don't want to? What if you don't want to perform when you're 70? If you don't want to perform when you're 60, but if you don't have a retirement package in place, if you just make, if the money that you got from your music just really allowed you to live, what are you going to do when you get to that point? So you have to think about, as an artist now, what am I going to do in the future? So that's where automation, AI, having a business, digital products, you know, like really seeing how the digital world, automation, technology can connect with music. It can really connect with our music. And I know we're getting to the end of the show, but I know you mentioned that you've established an initiative to help others in the music industry, you know, and I'd love for you to touch on that a little bit as well, and let the listeners hear about that, you know, because with you performing and doing your music, but also establishing an initiative to give back and help others, you know, you're establishing something for the future as well as living your dream now. So please share that with us, if you don't mind.
Okay. So initially this idea, well, it's a label, Twende Records. Twende is let's go in Swahili. And thank you. Initially it was supposed to be, if I was to do medicine, I wanted to open up, or for music, I wanted to open up a practice in Kenya, you know, with like different, because when I used to work as a medical assistant here in Cologne, they'd have like different departments. So let's say like I don't know, psychologist, or I don't know, general practitioner or gynecologist, whatever, you know. And then because I have a lot of friends that are doctors, that way offer employment, and then at the same time, for many, of course, if it's doctors, nurses, whatever the case, and then at the same time also for patients, because I see what the, you know, medical department is like in Kenya. And I wanted to give back in that way, you know. I know it would take a while, but you know, joining forces just to be able to give back, because I feel like if I was not going to be able to be a doctor, I had to give back in some way, shape, or form in medicine, and I feel like that would be the best way if I was, you know, to make, and that's why I'm still trying to get from this way, if it's, with artists, build with artists, we see what we can get together. And also for myself, if no one's going to give me, sign me or whatever the case, even when I was, for example, releasing my first album, and they're like, nah, I went to one label and then, nah, we're not releasing any artists right now. There's so many excuses. And there was one artist, he's called Scaramucci, he's also on the album. And he's the one that helped because he saw me on tour with Gentleman and he was like, whenever you need help, and he really came through. So we released it under his label in France. And I also felt like that way because he used to live in Germany and he had the same struggle that I had. You see, so it's also not as a female, but he had the same. So he knew exactly what I was going through and he gave back. And I also myself, I only felt like that's the best way to give back because there's so many people. You never know what anyone is going through.
Exactly.
And you need to give back in some way, shape, or form. And that way, myself also, I like to own my own masters. And if it's
yes, girl.
like and it's like fashion, I like a lot of fashion and whatever the case, come up with that. For now, I don't know exactly clearly what it is, but if it's an urban mixed with African, Kenyan style, exactly in some fashion line that way. So create jobs, but at the same time, some revenue.
Yes, girl.
Where you get at, so. That way, and then also signing artists if they need a place to release their, because I didn't have that chance like that. I'm like, I'm not waiting on anyone, even if it's like at the same time booking agent. But of course, I have to get a team in time that's gonna happen. Of course, when people see your dream, but I have to start it. And even just for myself, I'm not waiting on anyone to build me that same thing that God has given us a gift to be able to do for ourselves. So, yeah. That's basically the plan. I put it out in the universe actually.
Love it, girl. I love your plans. Love your plans. We believe in you. We support you, girl. And
thank you.
Use all those wonderful experiences, and put everything together and just help as many people as possible. I think that's what it is. I think that's why we've gone through things. We've gone through things so that we can help others because we know what it's
exactly.
Like, you know.
Yes, the universe knows who to give those struggles and those fights because we're strong enough to handle those obstacles and all. Yeah, and my next step is to come to the stateside. I really, really want to perform and just see the crowd of people there, what the energy is like, So hopefully I get to come. Canada, States.
Yes, Canada.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I can't wait for that day. It's gonna happen. Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Yes, but putting it out in the universe again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
TyB. So, is there anything you wanted to? Close out.
That's right. How can people get in touch and can you share contact info, social media, what have you? The floor is yours.
Okay, so you can reach me on telephone. That is 0. I'm playing. You can catch me.
We're waiting with their pen.
Yeah, they're like we were +49. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. That's Treesha Music, TREESHA _MUSIC. Yeah. And you can listen to my music on Spotify.
That's right.
iTunes, stream, exactly. Go stream, by the way, run it. Mr. P, run it. Hey, now make you run. Turn it up, nobody come turn me down. Say run it. But make you run. Hey, we know
I love it.
Happy run and the dollars happy run. So no tell me if you say don't and see fire, I'll go burn. Cause there's something that we bop. Love radio and Treesha.
Bop.
Yes,
Nice. Rewind selector.
That's right.
Oh my God, again.
Yes.
Love Bay Radio. Thank you so much for supporting me. Appreciate it. TyB, Petraa, Ron. We do not know where he went to.
Ron,
where you there?
Yeah, Ron is.
Yeah,
he's on a ferry. He's going to play a gig tonight. And it's out west in Vancouver, which Vancouver is about 3 hours time difference, the time zone. He has a gig to play.
Okay.
He wanted to talk to you, but
I know Ron went to he still made it, on the show.
Okay.
he still made it, but that is how
Next time.
That's right. We have conversation. Tell you what, this is your radio station. They run it. We're going to be playing it.
Yes.
I've been playing it
Yes.
24/7. It's here 24/7, unlimited. That's
Thank
what
Mhm.
Unlimited access.
that's.
Thank you so
You
much.
come back anytime, every time, anytime at any given time that you feel you want to come back. This is your radio station as well, because
Thank you so much.
it's run
Thank
by
you.
artists.
Thank
That's like we whenever we come on the I'm always waiting to have a conversation on this on this particular program every Saturday. It's like how we've done it, and we love having conversations with this, and a lot of people we are glad have gotten involved, and they are tuning in and in their numbers. So right now there are so many people listening to you across the globe. So we thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me. Really, really appreciate it. Appreciate you both. For you all. Everyone out there, big up for streaming and for listening in. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Petraa.
And we'll see each other.
I just want to say, Ron, good luck on your show, Ron. Travel safe.
That's right. That's
And
right. Ron didn't get a chance to talk to Treesha, but he was dying to do that. But hey, next time, there's always a next time.
There's always
Got
next
to see his
time.
pretty face.
That's a reason to
you
come.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a reason to come back now again, because Ron now can
That's right.
Exactly. You got to come back on. We can have Ron for the whole show,
Yeah, no, okay.
Yeah, awesome. Well, again, I just want to say it's been fantastic, Treesha. It's been amazing. Sending you lots of love, girl.
You too. Thank you so much. And
amazing music. You're beautiful inside and out.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, we
Big up
truly
on
appreciate
a great
you.
mom. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank
TyB,
you.
thank you as well for having me.
Yeah. So listeners, thank you so much for joining us on this wonderful Highway 6 to Africa. Me, TyB, Ron was here for a little, he'll be back next week. And definitely support Treesha. Her music is amazing. Check out Run It. Honestly, check her out. And you'll find us again here next week, Friday, from 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard on the Highway 6 to Africa. Cruising. Bye, Love Bay family.
Bye.
Bye.